I had worked with one of the producers, Jason Berman, before, actually two of them, Quayle Collison, and they had sent me the script. And I was getting on a plane to go to work in Atlanta from LA, and I read the script on the plane. It was one of those things where usually you're like, okay, get in some, read 10 pages, and then you're like, kind of like, okay, this is okay, and then you get to 20, and then you're like, I can make this work. And from the get-go, I'm like, oh my God, I want to do a movie in New York, or a job in New York, and I want to do kind of like driven towards these small relationship movies, like, you know, whatever, like Crazy and Blue Valentine, all those movies. I'm like, I love something about them. You know, this kind of had an element about a guy, you know, who's getting out of a relationship, trying to figure out what he wants to do in his life at a crossroads. I just, the whole script, I read it through, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to do this. I love it. And I called the producer. I was like, hey man, I really like this. And he's like, I'm gonna see if I can set you up with a meeting. So I talked to the director that weekend for like 3 hours, and he was a smart guy. I was like, oh, he wrote the script. And we just kind of really got along, and that's how I came onto the project.
Even with all the excitement you had to join the project, is there an intimidation factor? Because you're front and center this whole movie, and I mean, it's all on your shoulders almost.
No, you know, I just don't think of it that way. I just think of it like I just think of it like just a job that I just want to kind of like experience the role and play the part, and then everything else. I mean, I really can't control anything else. Yeah, I mean, after the fact, like last night, for a second, like 10 minutes before we walked into the premiere, I'm like, oh man, this could be brutal. You know, if it's gonna be painful to watch. It's not the most fun thing to watch yourself. It's like you, when you're looking at, you know, if you see yourself on video, which you normally don't probably do, it's weird. You see yourself from different angles, and like, oh, and watch your stupid maneuvers and the way you walk and all that. That's painful, but it did occur to me that, oh man, you know, you never make it in a movie. I just thought about making sense of it. If I thought if we could make sense of it and it would feel fun, it would turn out good. There's so many elements though: time, money, directing, editing. So all actors. And we got lucky with so many elements of that. First of all, we got all these great actors that, you know, obviously made the film, elevated it much more than it was, really.
And was it a lot of pressure time-wise, like a quick schedule?
We really tried to, it was pretty 20 days, 19 days or something. And so we really tried we had one camera, you know, and just like, we had different setups, different locations every day. And we're traveling around New York and Brooklyn with a crew, and just 2 vans. We had no holdings, you know, no trailers and nothing like that.
A lot of locations.
Yeah. So we were just kind of like packing it up. But we had a great crew, and we had a great time. It was like a great little. Everyone really got along well, and it was one of those experiences. It was fun. It was great. I remember, you know, great way to kind of nostalgic when I see the movie, remembering how much fun we had this summer.
And now, can you tell me a little bit about your personal process here?
Yeah.
Do you have something that you like to do no matter what script you're working on, whether it's breaking down your script, writing a journal in someone's voice, anything like that?
You know, I do like to I like to do as much preparation as possible, and sometimes things don't work, and sometimes you don't have the luxury to get thrown in, and there's no pressure that way. I feel like the pressure comes from, you know, knowing you have the time, and then if something's not working, you're like, oh, I should have done this. So I do overdo all kinds of things. Just kind of, you know, I carry that script, and by the time I start shooting, it's like a shredded, tethered thing. I have all these hundreds of notes I don't really look at anymore. I just kind of like just do all the thing, and then when you get there, you just put it down and just see what happens. It's our writer-director's voice, and I kind of tried to take elements from him. And that's where we started. And like I was like, I'm like, dude, this is you. It's not who I am every day. Of course, there's pieces of me in there, you know, that I reluctantly admit. But you know, I started there, and we tried to make him not too, you know, not too unbelievable, where he couldn't like be with a girl like Abigail, or why would he have Claire as a girlfriend and then he's breaking up with her. So we tried to ride the line of like moments where he's has a little more strength, and moments where he has weakness. And,
is it frustrating for you when he has weakness? Because like,
I mean, it's frustrating for you. I'm starting to hear it's frustrating for a lot of the audience.
Because like, you're sitting there and you're like, you want to like yell at this guy, like, don't, like, you deserve better. Don't do that. Do this instead.
I mean, that was like the whole thing. Is like, you know, I think. I guess it was fun for me to watch people feel that way. I mean, I just thought that, but you know, maybe Yeah, it's hard to watch. It's hard to play a character like that. I haven't done that much of late, and it's hard to do it, 'cause you just you want to be cool, that's like, I want to ride my skateboard with my shirt on, and I'm Doug, and I can't do it.
What kind of ways can you relate to him? I mean, you said there's
well,
some of you
yeah, of course, like any kind of part I think you play, hopefully there's, I would hope that there'd be some elements of myself, but just not wanting to hurt someone, trying to make everybody happy, and not speaking up.
Unfortunately, all that at your own expense sometimes.
Right, at your own expense, trying to make other people happy, but also realizing, hopefully, and this is something that I relate to, most people do, when you see him with his grandfather, it's like remembering that life's short and you will regret. So as much as pain it is to, stand up and set your boundaries and say, no, I need to do this for me. It's difficult, and you don't want to hurt people's feelings, but you have to in order to. Life's short is the message there, kind of like, you're going to regret this, and that's really where we thought the movie was, and this kind of unassuming guy who kind of comes up and says, no, I'm going to climb this mountain no matter what. Starts making irrational decisions along the way to do it.
Did you there's no mountain climbing, obviously, in this, and we actually only see you in one shot, like staring at a rock climbing wall, but did you get to do any of that for fun?
I've summited Mount Rainier and Mount Whitney, which is Mount Rainier is the highest peak in the continental U.S. It's a treacherous climb. I've done a lot of Mountaineer. Like, I like to do I surf big time, a lot. I surf East Coast, West Coast, wherever I am, I surf a lot. Doug is not, he's not an outdoorsman as much as I am.
So you wouldn't trip and fall like Doug did?
I hope not. Anybody could trip and fall, yeah. Yeah, anybody could, but I hope not running in the street.
And how was that limp? Because, it seems like a really basic thing, but to have to act and think about that.
You know what I put? I put something in I put a marble in my shoe. And sometimes I couldn't find the marble, and we had these gobstoppers. We had 4 things at craft service. We had a jelly bean, gobstopper, and a bag of Doritos, and maybe water for I was awesome. I put those things in my shoe, and it really helped my limp.
Your socks are probably 500 different colors.
Yeah, but it's everlasting.
How do you feel about the ending? Because after that whole journey, it's he can't live happily ever after, but then he does. How does he really feel about that, do you think?
Well, I think it's one of those bittersweet things. It's you kind of okay, no, I'm determined to go to do this. I'm determined to change my life. I'm determined, that was in the past. And then you get out there and you realize, wow, this is harder than I thought. So I think that's open for interpretation. And that should be perceived by your personal experience. But, I can relate to that, can you?
Absolutely.
It's you're just no, this is cool. This is gonna be...
It's a fun game to play, to go through this whole process with this character and try to guess what you would do in that situation.
Right, yeah, it's choose your own adventure.
Totally.
Yeah.
And now, what do you have coming up next? Do you want to do things like this? I'm still kind of waiting for you to get a superhero part, big action type thing.
I'm doing right now. I'm filming Boardwalk Empire. I'm on this season, so I have a very, very cool part. I'm so happy to be a part. It's my favorite show. I finally ended up getting this job that I've been chasing for a couple months, and so I started filming, and now I got to work tomorrow. I'm actually gonna fly out. I gotta get up super early.
Good reason to get up early.
I'm so happy.
How about on the film front? Is there anything maybe that you haven't done that you've got your eye on?
God, what did I do? I have a couple movies that I finished last year that are being put together right now that were really fun. But all those things are exciting. Just whatever it is, I don't know. Whatever it is, hopefully it's creative, the things that I'm doing now and different characters. I'm just lucky. This movie, comparison to the next movie I did right after that, comparison to the next movie I was lucky enough to do, comparison to Boardwalk Empire. They're all completely different characters and all with great people. So whatever it is, I hope. If it's a Western like this here, look at this motif here. And this hotel is amazing, isn't it?
Gorgeous here.
And it's beautiful.
Austin's kind of gorgeous too.
Yeah, great place. I've only been here for like 15 hours. So.
It's a pretty awesome place to premiere a movie like this.
It really is. You know, we couldn't ask for a better festival and a better kind of audience for this movie. This is kind of festival where really they program movies, and I think it's harder if you have a big cast and a dream team. I think they really scrutinize the movie because the integrity of the actual festival is about emerging filmmakers that make something from their heart and struggle with the independent film roadblocks, which are money, time. And those are the things, and they overcome them and make something, and then have a place to celebrate it, right? That's what this is. So, I mean, it's a great place. We couldn't be happier.